What up, y'all? So, back again, another video. So, we're talking about getting a job in academia and what it's like going on the job market, right? So, previously, we discussed before we get on the job market, what do you do? The application process, the what you need to or who you need to have as your letters of support, and then who or what the online or the phone Zoom interview is like, right? So, let's now get into what it's like getting an in-person interview and what you should and shouldn't do while you're at the in-person interview and what it all looks like because it's a few days of constant on the go. Let's talk about it. So, after the Zoom interview, you'll get an email saying, hey, congratulations, you have made it to the next round of interviews, which is the in person. Now, again, celebrate this moment because not too many people get in persons, right? So they're only bringing in about 5 people to in person, and that's larger institutions. And some larger institutions may bring in more, but the smaller ones, right? They're bringing less than that. They might bring in 3, right? So it's now you you at the finals, right? Now it's you and a couple other people. Now you got to beat them out. Remember that. Now you got to be better than them. I mean, that's just how it is. This is a competition at this point. This is to get a job. This is to get a job for life. You know what I'm saying? Or potentially have a job for life. All right. So how the in-person interview works, right? And I thought about really like going through each one of my in-person interviews and telling you like how it went, but I'm gonna save that for my book. So for the in-person interview, so for me, I had 4, right? 4. So and that's 4 out of 50, and I looked it up, 59 applications that I put in. So about 7%, right? So and actually less than a little less than it was a 6 point something, 6.7% or something like that, right? So about 7% of the applications I put in, I got interviews for, and so I'll talk about the rejections and everything later. But let's celebrate this moment that hey, you got an in-person interview, and that's huge. Now you have to prepare. So what happens during the in-person interview? So it's a couple of days and it depends on how they operate. Smaller universities might have lesser days. Bigger interviews, bigger institutions might have more. But just know that it's a couple of days of being on. You gotta be on your P's and your Q's, right? You gotta be on top of your game. Hey, lock in. So what happens now is they're going to fly you out, right? You figure out a time, and make sure to be flexible. Make sure you have nothing going on at that time because this is the most important thing that you have going on, right? So make sure you're flexible. They're going to bring you in one night. You might have dinner with some of the people on the committee or some of the faculty members, or you might be having dinner on your own depending on how late you get in. Because I know I was flying across the country once and I got in really, really late, so I had to find my own dinner. Cool, whatever. They're going to meet you for breakfast typically, and then you get your day started. Now, depending on how they have it structured, right? You might do your seminar on the first day. So what they will do, they'll shuffle you around to different people, and you have to talk to them. You get to know the different faculty members, right? These one-on-one conversations. No, they're going to give you a schedule beforehand. Know who you're talking to, right? Write down questions that you want to ask each person, right? And this is again, you need to prepare. Don't go in and just wing it, right? Don't do that. You want to prepare for your in-person interview and for the conversations you're going to have with each different person. It's important. I'm trying to tell you, because each person might get a say in whether or not you get this job. Because they could say, it was like, they didn't have nothing to ask me. They didn't even look me up. It's like they didn't care to, right? And that may be a ding on your report. So we don't want that. Remember that. All right. So, and also make sure you ask them about themselves. Make sure you ask them about their research, because these one-on-ones can be awkward. We're scientists, man. We can be real awkward sometimes, right? So you want to make sure that you ask them about, or you have questions for them. Just like with the Zoom interview, you want to make sure that you have questions for them. Okay. So remember that. All right. So as you being shuffled around, right? Then you'll have lunch. Sometimes you'll have lunch with students, grad students, whatever. Just make sure that you're respectful. All right. Don't be a dick like that, especially to the students, because they will get a say in what had though. They'll tell you is, oh no, he was terrible, and then that's a major ding, right? Because if you don't get along with students, then what are you there for? So after that, you have your seminar. Practice, 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 practice your seminar, bruh. Like, don't go in there and just wing your seminar thinking, oh, I got this. Nah, you don't, right? You don't. Make sure you practice with family, friends, everyone. And remember this. So, and this might get a little complicated. So, depending on the institution that you're at, right? Because I know for a couple of mines were also teaching demos technically, right? So I'm teaching them what my research is, right? So and then other places I actually had a teaching demo. Depending on the institution that you're at, they might be teaching intensive, so you'll prepare for a teaching demo. For because I absolutely love that university. San Francisco State University is a great institution. Just decided not to go there. So, and I did a teaching demo, and I was talking about mutations. And the way I did it was, and I had a lot of fun with it. I talked about, and I asked the question, well, can we have can we get superpowers from mutations that happen naturally, right? So then I went through it. I went through all the mutations and said, hey, these are the mutations. These are what can occur when you have these mutations. And then at the end, I was like, so what do you think? And we had a discussion. So it was really cool. It was a really great time. Students were very, very much engaged. I had a great time there. Anyways, and just because you had a great, what I'm saying, I was like, you had a great time, that doesn't mean you have to pick it, and it pains me. But anyways, so, moving on, right? So, for your seminar, make sure that you're practicing. Practice with your PI, mentors, friends, family, because you want to make sure that you're able to get your point across to all different types of scientists. Everybody in the room is going to be the expert on what you do. So make sure that you can. I know I did my I practice my seminar quite a bit, but also I practice with my family. My family doesn't know anything that I do. They barely understand what I do, right? Like on if I really got into it, right? But then I made sure that I could explain it to them. So if you can explain it to them, or explain it to family that don't really get it, you'll be good. I promise you, you'll be good. Okay. So prepare. Operate under the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. All right. Make sure that you're properly prepared. All right. So after that, then that's kind of the hard part, right? And then you go on, you talk to more people. You'll talk to the head of the department. You'll talk to the dean. Make sure you're on your P's and Q's. Make sure you can answer the questions like that, right? If you have to think about it for a little bit, it's fine, but like don't sit in silence for a long time. Then they'll take you out to dinner. All right. So make sure you're cordial during dinner as well. You'll get breaks from time to time, but also you're on all day, right? And then there might be a second day where you are again being shuffled around and talking to different faculty members and things of that nature. Then you'll probably get a tour of the space that you might be taking over, the department, in all its entirety. I know one in person I went on didn't actually take me around. Like it was weird. Like at the end of two of my interviews, especially the one that didn't take me around to see the department, see the labs, they they kind of ended it at the in the middle of the day, and then my flight wasn't until like 6 p.m. And I'm just like, what? Y'all didn't have a plan for me. Y'all knew what time my flight was, and remember, so they bring you in, man. It doesn't mean they have all their shit together. Remember that. And that might be a ding on them because they are trying to not only are you trying to impress them, they are trying to impress you. You are interviewing them because if they offer you the job, they want to be sure that you take it. And if you had a bad experience, you won't take it. Now they have to go to their next option. Remember that. So keep that in mind. Just because you're on the job market, you made it to this point, you are interviewing them as well. Okay? So all the power isn't in their hands. Some of it is in yours. All right. So after that, and after the in person. So I know for one of the in persons that I did, I didn't get shuffled around, which was really really great. Now, like I said, every department does it. Every department and university does it differently. But they had a drop in, and the drop in was amazing because I sat in a room, bunch of chairs, big table, and people came in, and it was a bunch of faculty members who came in to just to talk, and then it really kept it from being awkward or any awkward silences, right? Because there was multiple people in there, and then also it gave me a inside look of how they interacted with each other, and that's something that you want to make sure that you are paying attention to. Be vigilant. See how they talk about the department, they talk about the university, they talk about or they talk or they interact with each other, right? The department that I'm currently in, or the university I'm currently in, they were very cordial with each other. They had inside jokes. They knew about each other's lives. They were very very happy. Okay, and that was just like, okay, yeah, yeah, that's okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down, right? So think about those things. Okay, you have to think about those things, and also you want to be thinking about the area. Look at the area. They're going to take you around to different places. Is this the kind of area that you want to be in, right? So you have to take you're getting into a 5 year plus contract with these people. Make sure that this is somewhere you want to be. Okay. So typically after the in person or after dinner for the second day or whatever, you go back to your hotel. You can relax. You can do whatever until your flight because they pay for all that, right? Or you get reimbursed, or well, you get reimbursed for the the Uber if you have it, right? If you have the Uber, I know one of them had like a car for me. So every place is different. Just remember that. Like, just be flexible. Every place is different. So at the end of all these, right, what I do is I make sure to write down my experiences. And usually I would do it at the end of each day so I don't forget. So I'll write down things like, oh, well, I noticed this, or I noticed that, or I know, and when I ask, and I usually have around the same questions for each faculty member, right? About, okay, why did you choose here? Know why they chose there, right? Know why they stay there. That was okay. And especially if someone has been there for years, I was like, oh, what made you stay? Those are the questions because after 5 years they can leave, right? We can leave, but what made you stay? Because especially if they do really great research and they was just like, oh, I decided to stay. I like it here. Figure out why. Understand why, and especially for me as a black person, right? Going to these different departments. It was always nice when I got to interact with other black faculty, if they have black faculty, obviously. But knowing what their views are, why they came here, why did they stay? Okay. So you want to know all those things. Now, I can give you a comprehensive list of all the things that I asked, but you know, at the end of the day, right, I wrote down my interactions with people, what I liked, what I disliked, what kind of things were they offering. You can go and they went into more detail about this, and this. Those things. Again, hold on. Again, I had a little thing here, right? Um, just outlining everything. And I honestly, I put a lot of stuff on my phone in my notes app. So like while I was because some of the places I would get on the plane like that. So like while I was on the plane, while it was fresh in my brain, I was writing, right? I was writing. I was just like, okay, this is what pros. I was writing pros and cons lists. So I was like, pros, this is that. Cons, this is that, right? You want to do it right after, because if you don't, you're going to forget. You'll be like, well, what was that thing that happened? Thing? Yeah. No, do it right after. And then it will allow you to make an informed decision once the time comes and once you get, hopefully, a offer from that institution and from that department. Okay? So next time, we're going to talk about getting an offer. And what does that mean? And what is next, right? And we're going to talk about negotiations and things of that nature. Okay? So that's it for me. I am Dr. Stevens, the scientist who lived, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.